cold, hasn't it? It's been warm all day, and then like the moment we sort of get into shade, freezing. We're here today at Leiston Abbey ruins, which is interesting enough. It's the newer site, which is the site that most people will probably recognise as being Leiston Abbey, which also happens to be within a music school, which is very cool, actually, to be honest with you. So, beautiful.
Yes.
Very, very cool. It's only going to be a semi-short video today because of the fact that most of the ruins have actually been sort of like fenced off. But I promise you the history lesson will be fascinating. And stay tuned because when we're walking around later, we're going to talk about how you can check out links below to check out what old Leiston Abbey had and what those beautiful offerings were as well. So let's explore this one. Enjoy your history lesson. We'll go see you outside.
Bye.
Situated on the Suffolk coast lies an abbey that really can tell a fascinating story, that of Leiston Abbey. The story of how this ruin came to be the way that we now see it today is actually an interesting one, because originally the abbey that we now see wasn't planned to be here. In fact, the abbey originally was sited further along the coast, now what we would refer to as the Old Abbey, which was founded for 26 regular canons of the Premonstratensian order in 1182 by Ranulph de Glanville, Chief Justiciary to King Henry II. The problem was it was almost too remote for its own good, lying on marshy ground, with the coast constantly creeping ever closer inward. It was decided that they had to move further inland, so money was raised for lands to be purchased inland. So in 1363 they moved to the now Leiston Abbey, and the old site was demolished. And the stone was then reused in the construction of the new abbey, paid for by Robert de Uford, Earl of Suffolk, who had been granted patronage of the abbey in 1350, leaving only a small chapel dedicated to St Mary, now in ruins, in which it was constructed on the site of the original monastery church. As the new abbey was being built, the Earl of Suffolk had the idea to make it bigger and better, and would be home to the Augustinian canons who followed the Premonstratensian rule. However, the site wouldn't have the greatest of luck when there was a great fire in 1379 and further rebuilding was necessary. After this, the abbey would go on to have a moderately peaceful life until Henry VIII declared the dissolution of the monasteries in 1537, and the abbey would be one of many that would be primed for destruction. After the suppression, the king bestowed the abbey on his brother-in-law Charles Brandon, Duke of Suffolk, and the abbey ruins were used as farm buildings, with the church itself being used as a barn. So fast forward, and the abbey is now in the care of English Heritage, as well as being run partly by a music school, and in my opinion is definitely worth a visit should you be in the area. Well, everybody, welcome back. Thank you for staying along with us. What a fascinating history lesson that was. Obviously, the idea that really, in essence, this new abbey got moved further inland. Beautiful word, Premonstratensian. I love that word. Premonstratensian canon's quite a mouthful of a word on that one. Yeah. Quite proud of myself because I've explored many other places that have had Premonstratensian, the Premonstratensian religious order in them. I hope you understand what I mean by that. There's a little bit of a brain. But yeah. First impressions.
It's cute, isn't it? I like it actually.
It's difficult because of scaffolding.
Yeah.
And also
half some bits used.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
And you do feel limited, yeah, because obviously to be honest with you, if you went to, this is a classical music school, by the way. I mean, if you wanted to play a classical instrument, what a beautiful place to sort of do this in. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. We're going to take you for a look around. I just wanted to point out a couple of things that are here whilst we're here. So there's signs. Obviously, this is a transept. This is a south transept. So really, this abbey was, again, this was huge. But obviously, as we said in the history lesson, the idea was that when they'd moved it over, they just basically wanted to make it bigger and better. And obviously, we're not in boggy marshland like at Old Leiston Abbey. It's very cool. I tell you what, though, Soph, I'm going to say something. Now, I'm very aware that this place is haunted.
Oh.
Well, I didn't say this in the history lesson, but I am actually strangely picking up a little bit of a, I don't know why, just picking up some vibes that I can imagine I could see certain things. Just saying, chucking out there, whatever you believe to that, but there's definitely a vibe here. I'm picking up on. I don't know why, just am. But won't talk too much about that because I appreciate some people don't really believe or they don't want to sort of go for it. But there is definitely I can imagine this, you know. A bit of wind there. So this is a south transept. You can see these beautiful arches. Obviously, like I said, they moved some of the building material. I'm really talking about the old history lesson really here. They did obviously move some of the materials here, most of them, which is obviously a given that you'd normally find that. Obviously at the moment they've still got a lot of work going on anyway to restore most of what they've got. And now this is St Michael's Chapel. And this would have been absolutely probably one of the most vital sort of hubs within the abbey itself, because obviously it's religious, it's really what they're here for. But it's because obviously this obviously gives us the chapel, so it gives us these sort of religious vibes, it gives us these beautiful huge arches, and obviously as you look through, which obviously what the idea is that I think they use that as like a sort of hall now for the school. It is bizarre because, like we said before, you know, part of the school is now taken over, and obviously those elements have been there like later in date, obviously. So, but it's pretty cool that you have that to hand, really. But yeah, got some good photos, which obviously you obviously seen the history lesson, but very beautiful, and literally about 7 minutes away drive from, or no, longer than that. It's 10 minutes drive from Old Leiston Abbey RSPB Reserve Car Park in I can't remember. Sophie will correct me in a minute. Well, not correct me, remind me. But we're literally about 10 minutes away from
Minsmere.
Minsmere, thank you. From the RSPB there at Minsmere, which is where you can park to basically go around to the old ruined abbey, which obviously you'll see in a link below. We're going to put that link down below for you when that comes out, because really it's a chapel. It's a fascinating story behind that, but actually, funny enough, not for the reasons that you think. Anyway, we're going to take a look round. Come on. So everybody, this is labelled as the presbytery, and you can see, if I just stick my camera around here, the altar with the cross that's in there. You can see this is really at the moment where they're doing most of the sort of scaffolding work as well, which is fascinating. And because it's English heritage, we know that they like to label things, which is good, because obviously for me, I like the history, but I'm not great on my structural stuff, which is given. I can't know everything. I'd like to, but I can't.
You got your 3 seats?
Yes, beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, yeah, I'll show people that. So you can see that, everybody. You see that little arch, little finger of doom there. Amazing. So I think the idea is that what we're going to take a look at now is going to take a look further inside the abbey itself. So let's go do it. So everybody, as you saw the label, the North Transept. I'll tell you what, when you walk through these entrances and you can just imagine the scale of this stuff, I always think with religious sites like abbeys, priories, churches even, even cathedrals are probably the greatest example of the scale of stuff that when you walk through it, you feel so minuscule when you actually see the true height. And this obviously isn't the full height of it, these are just obviously the levels that you can see, but my God, it really just does take you, you know, absolutely brilliant. So everybody, you obviously saw on that wonderful layout, hopefully you did, obviously that we've basically explored the church and now we're sort of walking into the main section really of the abbey itself. Obviously it was, like I said, it was quite large, very thick walls, beautifully constructed, and like I said, as per usual, Dissolution monasteries, get rid of it all. Just demolish it. Henry VIII. Look at this though. I tell you what, me and Soph keep saying, don't we, about the school. If you came to this school,
Oh God, spoiled.
you wouldn't want to leave, would you really?
No.
You know, you just want to sort of just stay here and... So yeah, here we are now. So we're in the cloisters. Obviously this would be our open space. So it's quite nice actually. You can get to see that sort of like squared space where obviously the monks would sort of be conversing and walking around on contemplation. And then we can just sort of see just beyond obviously the ruins of the church itself, one of the transepts there. Amazing. I think so. As ruins go, I mean, it is actually quite a nice one.
Yeah.
And I think actually, if you can sort of just take away the fact with the scaffolding that's happening, actually, you know, and it's free.
Yeah.
I know we have to always sort of say that car parking's free as well.
Yeah.
We did say though that it might feel weird when you come down here on a school day.
Yeah.
Because although it's a music school, sort of specialist school, you still feel weird that you're sort of down here. You know that they can. But mind you, actually, it might be quite nice because it's a classical school, you see. So you're going to hear beautiful classical music, hopefully,
That's a nice view.
in the background. But yeah, where? Oh yeah, look at that. Sophie, obviously, as you can tell, everybody's busy taking beautiful photos, as we said before, and she likes her angles. And her photos.
Look at the angles.
Actually, not that it really matters today, but it's important. You've got a new phone,
Oh,
new
yeah.
camera, amazing.
Oh my God, it's so good.
So good. She's very happy with that choice.
Yep.
That's the coolest thing. Normally we don't like to talk about personal stuff on these types of ones, but actually, you know what, we're exploring, we're having a really fun day, and this is what it's all about. So the idea is obviously to always keep saying to you guys to come out and explore for yourselves, enjoy it. The only thing it cost us today was petrol in the car. Oh, and dark charge. Another story for another day. It's just because we're from Kent. But yeah, apart from that, yeah. Apart from that, that's it. Makes memories, doesn't it? You know, you can come down here yourselves. You know, and you can make these memories just as much, and hopefully, like, these videos do encourage you. You know, we're going to keep exploring though.
Yeah.
Come on. So everybody, we're having now a look at the warming house. Obviously the warming house is literally what it says, what it means. Unfortunately, we can't go up the stairs because, as you probably noted, there was scaffolding. So we are doing the best of what we can do today. Again, Safe's busy taking some wonderful photographs. Hopefully you'll like them, and obviously, as per usual, check out our Instagram page in the link below. But wonderful. I often keep reminding myself that when you visit these places, it's important to walk around them just as much as it is to sort of engage inside them as well. I do apologise as always if the wind is coming out a little bit on this. Many apologies. But hopefully you appreciate it just as much, and that beautiful sun that's beaming down. Amazing. Well, everybody, welcome back to the refectory. Obviously, the idea for... Look how beautiful this is. Obviously for food, etc, etc. The idea that we have this notion that natural sourcing of food, and we know that actually in this layout, most of the garden and the greenery was literally pretty much quite close next doors. In fact, actually the sort of gardens, if you looked at it. But look at this view behind us.
Pretty cool.
Sport for choice really with photos, haven't we? Well, I know you have, obviously, in trying so many great angles on this.
Angles.
Really cool. We're going to show you some steps, because why not? Can't go up them, unfortunately, but it does give you an idea. Beautiful. Love these beautiful medieval stairwells. They're so wonderful. Although they are, from experience, extremely, probably not the most ideal thing to walk up and down into, because of how uneven most of the time they are, and actually how shallow the steps are. Because obviously, bearing in mind, for example, I'm a size 11. I mean, my feet will just completely hang over the top of those. So, yeah, amazing. But let's just take one more final look, and yeah, we're pretty much done. Well, everybody, we are done. Any more words of Phoenix history? Thank you so much for coming along with us and watching till the end. Thank you, Sophie.
You're welcome.
What do you think?
I like it.
Yeah.
It's about the scaffolding.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if they once they get that done, obviously there's note, because it's obviously flint and stuff like this, that obviously the idea is it's quite brittle and can crumble. But it's nice they're actually doing something about it. They're not just leaving it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. That's it. Take care, everybody. Any more words of Phoenix history, because history matters? We can safely say on this one, it definitely does. I'd really like it if you go down and check out the 2 links below. One is Sophie's Instagram, and then second of all is the old Leiston Abbey that's got a hidden World War II secret. If you've not watched that video at all, check the link down below, because actually,
Really cool.
it's really cool, and it ties up with obviously this, because it was old Leiston Abbey before this one, and obviously the history lesson of this covers both. So there you go. Take care, everybody. We, of course, will see you all very soon. Are you ready, Sophie? Let us go.